Welcome to the Amy Leisner Show. Things are a little different around here today. I am recording this on Zoom so that I can get some video and I can post this video on YouTube and little clips of it on Instagram, which I'm really excited about. So you can all get to know me a little better and my vibe. And also I'm such a proponent of repurposing content. So I am doing these podcasts and I'm like, well, this information can definitely go more places. So I'm going to lead by example and start sprinkling it over some different platforms for everybody to listen and hopefully enjoy. Today's topic is why storytelling is so important in your marketing. So if you're a coach or an online entrepreneur, I'm sure you've been told over and over to tell your story, but why? Why are they telling us this? I know you've been sitting on webinars and in master classes and stuff like that, where these leaders and these, highly successful people are telling you to share your story, but why? Why do people care about our journey, our background? Aren't we supposed to be focusing on them and their transformation? And the answer is yes, and. So it really all comes back down to the know, like, trust process in sales and marketing. It's just like an essential element of what we do. It's major because when people know you and trust you, they're more likely to buy from you, but you have to earn their trust first. And telling your personal stories is a great way to do this. It's really just psychology. Think about when you get marketed a product or a service. Someone like a copywriter like me or whoever is trying to sell you something versus when a friend comes up to you and is like, hey, you have to try this one thing. It's amazing. Or even when you read reviews online. Like, I know that I'm much more swayed and compelled when I read positive reviews about services or programs or restaurants or wherever than the sales page itself. Although sales pages can be very compelling. Sales pages are kind of my thing. But anyways, I'm going to trust that friend more than I'm going to trust like the person marketing me because I know that friend, I like that friend, and I trust that friend. So that is kind of what we're trying to get at with the know, like, trust process. And to kind of expedite that know, like, trust process, we're telling stories about ourselves. I heard this quote, I think it was from Jasmine Star, but she probably heard it from someone else, and it might be wrong, but I think you'll get the idea. It's share about your scars, not your wounds. So there's this fine line of vulnerability in storytelling when we post this long caption online about like something hard we've been through, or go and talk about a certain situation we've been in. And that is really, really empowering, but it's really important to have taken that time to process and heal that chapter of your journey for yourself before you go ahead and just like share it with the world, because that energy that you're putting out there with that story, if you're in it, if kind of like you're in the mess of it and you haven't had time to process yet, it's not going to be coming from a place of like empowerment. So we want to take some time to like heal and process those situations that are eventually going to be great connection points that eventually you're going to heal from and learn from and grow from. But when you're in the thick of it, it's just not the best energy to put out there when you're sharing your story. So we don't want our posts to be like a therapy session or a vent session. Also, emotions are like on high and like there's a lot going on in your system. So you need to give yourself time to settle, to process, to reflect, and then to go in and share that story from a more enlightened, high vibe place than when you're kind of in the thick of it. So I love vulnerability. I love sharing all that stuff, but I really think it's important just for your own system to take the time to heal from whatever you're going through before we go ahead and share all of that. Also, when you share, you're opening yourself up to feedback from the world, right? Because we're posting on the internet, we're posting on social media. That's where our stories are going. And you want to get engagement. You want to start conversations, all those things. But if you're in the thick of it and some comment comes in that is like salt on the wound, or it's triggering or whatever, that's not going to help your healing journey. So put yourself first in those moments, allow yourself time to like process, move through whatever the situation is you're going through. And then once you're ready, go ahead and use that experience as an opportunity to empower others, to help others feel seen and understood, but give yourself that time and space when you're going through it to just really be in it and take as much time as you need until you're on the other side and feel empowered to share. You shouldn't feel like pressure to share your stories, or you shouldn't feel obligated. It's going to feel a little scary sometimes. Like you might feel that little like nervousness in your stomach, but anxiety and excitement have a very similar like physical feel. So maybe you're excited about sharing, you're a little weary because you haven't like gone there before, but that's different than just being not ready and like resistant. So trust your body before you hit send. Because I know I've been in programs where we're really encouraged to like share everything and, all parts of your journey. And in the moment, it didn't always feel the best. And I wish I would have trusted that feeling. So you're the best judge of what is appropriate to share and when, while also letting yourself get a little bit uncomfortable in those vulnerable moments. Okay, another amazing benefit of sharing your story on social media, in your marketing, is that you give your audience an opportunity to see themselves in your story. So when I'm talking about the story of my first car, the first car I ever got, I was 16 years old. I was living in a small town in central Wisconsin, and my dad got me a 1988 Honda Civic. It was silver. This little old lady had it down the road, and she only drove it to the grocery store and home, very low mileage. I called it Vic. So when I'm telling this story, you're like, okay, cool. But you're really thinking about your first car, what it looked like, if it had a name, how you got it, what the story around it was, right? So you are putting yourself into my story, and you're associating your life's experiences with my story, and you're kind of going back there in your imagination. And so when you're telling your story, people are going to relate to it. They're going to see themselves in it. And then when you get to the end, where you kind of loop it around to the moral of the story or the point of your story, whatever you're saying, then they're going to see themselves in that transformation too, right? So if you start somewhere and people really get themselves in that place, and then you bring it around to the transformation that you're going to provide to them, like what you went through, that's going to elicit a much stronger emotional connection with someone. And they're going to feel like they know you in a more intimate way, just by telling that story, because they associate to you, they relate to you, they feel close to you. So again, it's that know, like, trust process that we're really nurturing with our storytelling. Also, the subconscious loves when we keep things simple, and storytelling is a great way to do that because it's conversational, it's fun, there's emotions involved. Those are all things that humans love, right? So when you're telling a story, you're not getting caught up in industry jargon or the coachy terminologies. If I tell you about this time I worked with a coach, and my life was changed by her work together, because it was hanging out with a girlfriend, but also she was asking the hard questions and pushing me in all the right ways. And then this one time she gave me this random a Venmo $20 to go celebrate this win I had. And it's this really cool experience. You're connecting with that more than if I'm the transformation she provided evolved me as an entrepreneur, and the generosity she shared. That's how we might write about it. But when you're telling stories, you're using that fun conversational tone, and then people connect with that much easier. It's easier for the subconscious to connect with that. And the subconscious loves simplicity and clarity. And then that clarity is also going to make it easier for them to make a decision about taking an action to work with you, buy from you, whatever. So the last little tidbit I have about storytelling is that vulnerability is a trait of strong leaders, right? So if you are open to telling your story, to getting vulnerable, to sharing, kind of more intimate things about your life, that's a sign of a strong leader. Because have you ever posted something that was an intimate or a vulnerable share, I guess, and a lot of the responses you get are wow, you're so brave, or, I really admire you for sharing that. Well, it's true. It is brave of you to go put yourself out there. Think about how many people are on the internet, on Instagram, for example, who are just posting a picture of their cat with an emoji caption. Love that. love kitty pictures, dogs, ducks, whatever, but you're in the business of selling something and you're in the business of leading, and you're leading someone to a transformation. So for you to have the courage to get out there and share that part of you, even though you're opening yourself up to all kinds of like feedback, possibly criticism, whatever, that is something to feel really proud of. And that is a trait of a strong leader. If it's your calling as a coach, as some type of leader, someone, a healer, someone who offers a transformation, your stories are so important and vital, and we need to hear them. And that's going to help you connect with the people you're meant to lead. People want to be led. That's something we have to keep in mind too. Like, especially as females in this space, we're conditioned in a certain way to present ourselves a certain way. So we really need to intentionally push through that societal standard of being, kind of nice and a little bit just very accommodating to others. And here, do this if you want to, or, it's no big deal if you don't, but like, no, like people want to be led. They want to be told what to do, a gentle, empathetic way, but, or not maybe, or just get straight to the point and tell them this is what you should do here. And because I just know on the other side of you taking this action, your life's going to change, right? So vulnerability is the trait of strong leaders. And for you getting vulnerable in your storytelling, you are exemplifying that you are a strong leader and that someone can trust you to hold space for them, to be their support system when they need, and to empower them to get to that level of leadership and confidence that you are at now. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, for watching. This is my first podcast video I'm doing, so we'll see what happens from here. And if you want to connect, I'm on Instagram at Amy Leisner, TikTok at Amy.Leisner. I have a Facebook group for copywriters called the Copywriting Girls Club. Speaking of copywriting, I am indeed a copywriter for coaches, and I have a sales page in a day VIP day that is, I'm open for booking. So basically you get your whole entire sales page written in one day. There's like 3 check-in points where we just like check in with each other, make sure everything is going on the right track. Other than that, it's totally hands off. You send me your info, I write a beautiful sales page for you, and it's ready to be sent to your developer or designer. So excited about that, excited to support you. If you're interested in that, just reach out. And then the repurposing guide, I can't remember if I mentioned or not, but I do have a little freebie for you if you want, that gives you like 20 plus ways to repurpose your content, because let's make life easier on ourselves, right? Right. Okay. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.